You left it out in the rain. Is
I
that
was
what?
just like, oh yes, let this get a little rain. Blah blah blah. No.
Oh, I see. Hmm.
It helps spring back.
You cannot leave parsley out. So this is
April.
the April report for the greenhouse.
So it's April. It's been raining. It's been cold the past couple of days. The weekend was somewhat productive, but we didn't get to do as much gardening as we wanted to because it was so miserable. But in here, there's been some changes. Most of the lettuce has been planted at my mother's, my mother-in-law's, and our own raised beds outside of the greenhouse. These inside look a little sad because I just cut a whole bunch of greens for the ducks and gave it to them. So maybe they'll come back maybe 1 or 2 more times, I'm hoping. I've already cut them down at least 3 times, so I'm not sure if they're going to come back too strong. I'm more focused now on growing like flowers and the warmer weather vegetables. So here I have a cup of tomato plants that are long overdue. I better water these that have been long overdue in planting out into individual pots. So I have some marigolds to put around to keep some predators away from eating the vegetables. I don't know if that includes ducks. I doubt it. I have here some baby's breath, which are very long. They need to be put out soon, but I might have grown these things a little too early. This is a tromboncino squash, which I'm excited about. It seems to have survived the cold. It was on a warming mat for a while, and it looks like I have one started early. Here's another couple of tomato plants. This one is Super 100. What's this here? Cherry tomatoes. I have a lot of tomatoes growing for our ducks because it's like candy to them as well as for us. And I have a whole bunch here of delphiniums. I have never grown delphiniums from seed, but even though they were really, really delicate seedlings, they seem to be doing well. And some of them have 4 or 5 or more leaves, and I have more here. So lots of delphiniums going. I'm excited about that. A lot. I mean, there's delphiniums here, delphiniums there, tons of delphiniums. So I'm kind of excited to see these blue spires. Some things that I've actually had that I planted that seem to grow well in here over the winter. I have green globe artichoke. These are all these artichoke plants. I've got this jasmine officinalis that is going all over the place. And then this here is the yacon, which is a relative of the sunflower, but you're supposed to eat its sweet roots. That is like really looking very leafy and very happy. I transplanted something in here. I don't even know what it was, and they all died because I didn't water them. I have some birds of paradise over here in these 2 green pots. One is white and one is orange. The white one is supposed to get humongously tall, and the orange one stays at a relatively controllable small height. So I'm kind of curious about growing those. These, I have no idea. You know, at some point you kind of are in a rush. Oh, here we go. These are polar star chrysanthemums. So these are some chrysanthemums that I grew from seed. And I have some watermelons that are way too early, so they're getting super leggy. And I should just have planted them, but I have more seeds. I just wanted to try it, so I have more seeds of this watermelon. And these are a orange watermelon, which is really unusual, I think. I also have Alchemilla mollis, which is acanthus, which is, like on those Roman columns, you have the acanthus. Peter, I'm talking to you. Like the Roman columns that have the acanthus leaves?
Yeah, is that the thing?
This is the plant. This is the plant that
It's
grows.
for the crowns, right?
No. That's
acanthus. Okay.
acanthus is-
Decorative.
yeah, it's the
elements.
decorative element on the top of
Can you
certain.
eat it?
No, you should never eat it. I don't think you can eat it unless you want to die. So this is
So
acanthus.
why are we even growing it?
Because it has amazing flowers. So they're called bear's breeches, which means bear's pants. But it has these little flowers that kind of look like stick out like tongues on a very tall stalk. And those are incredibly healthy. So I was able to successfully grow those from seed. These are my nasturtium. And you know what? I don't know if they're doing so great in pots here. Oh, here's one flowering. Oh, so pretty. These are supposed to be a red, dark red nasturtium. So I think maybe they need some fertilizer or something.
Well, don't they need to be out in full sun?
Nasturtium do well in part shade. So they do great in shade, part shade too. I don't know about full sun. So I am planning to plant these out. And over here, it looks like my little bay tree that has developed some new growth, which it's starting to look a little less sad. So this is my bay tree. This,
It's dead.
I think this needs to go bye-bye. Bye-bye. Up here, we have zinnia, but they're getting very leggy, so I need to plant those out maybe into pots very quickly this coming weekend, and so they could get strong. And I have some really cute sunflowers. These are supposed to be mini, like shorter height, but have lots of full-size flowers. So this is called a dwarf sunflower. You see the roots on this, how developed it is. I'm going to put these into pots, and they're going to be just really extremely happy looking. I have some, this one I didn't even plant. I just planted by accident, but I had planted some in these cups. This is a beautiful white, what is this, peach and white lupine. I have never grown lupine, and they have 6 little petals on their leaves. So those are not petals, but they're the parts of the leaves. So I have one in this bigger pot that looks great. I've managed to grow some coleus, which has never happened. I have like 2 coleus plants in there. It's not dead. It's got a red color to it. And I also got some long eggplant started. So I have these I'm going to put in these big plastic half barrels that I got from Tractor Supply. They kind of look like wine barrels, but they're just cheap and plastic. But they're like a good 25 inches in diameter. So I'm planning to raise all my eggplants, peppers, and maybe a tomato or two in the, I think the tomatoes in those types of pots. I have purple passion flower. I had gotten these amazing looking purple passion flowers, and I'm hoping for some passion fruit. These vines are supposed to go crazy, and I managed to grow 3 from seed. And it took a long time for these seeds to sprout, so I would be patient if you try to grow them.
I thought it was a tropical.
Yeah, but they will grow here, and then, they'll be done for the year. But I'm hoping to get fruit before they're done. And the purple passion flower was, it was a huge fruit. And I'm hoping that I could take that. I have some experimentation going on. Right over here, I have a pink grapefruit tree growing from seed. So someone had written into Monty Don on
Your favorite.
Great Gardens. Well, everyone's favorite stud is Monty Don. Just kidding. Every middle-aged lady's gardener lady's
hot.
stud is Monty. Every time he takes off that jacket and throws it on the fence, woo-wee. Anyway, there's someone wrote into him and they said, "Oh, I planted this grapefruit tree from a seed, and it's been 10 years, and I haven't received any fruit. It hasn't bared any fruit." And he said, "Well, it takes 20 years for it to bear fruit, so you're halfway there." I thought that was hilarious. So, yeah. Anyway, that's going to take 20 years. If I live long enough, maybe I'll see a piece of fruit from there, but that's just an experiment. I have all kinds of experiments. So that's the first citrus that I grew from seed, and it was not very hard, and I didn't have to bury it too deep. And I have some Shasta daisies. So white Shasta daisies are just regular white daisies. So I grew these little seedlings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and Shasta daisies come back year after year. So I'm hoping to create these 5 perennials that'll come back year after year after year. And then I had some moonflowers and they didn't really grow, so I don't know what's going on here. Maybe I'll just water these one more time, see what happens, and then I'll just grow them when it's a lot warmer. I have some white clematis, and I split the plant into 3 separate plants because it was a very large plant. And it seemed to come apart into 3 very easily. So 3 for 1 right there. And I potted them up and created these tripods for them to climb up. So they seem to be happy in pots. And I don't know, I have a problem with the clematis here. I think we have really a problem with voles. Voles are going to be the biggest enemy in our garden, has been. And I think they eat the clematises that are in our planter boxes. And clematises are expensive flowering vines. They don't eat roses, thank God, but the clematis they eat. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to grow clematis, but not where voles can munch on their roots and kill them, unless I've been just killing them and it's not the voles. So hostas have been disappearing in our front yard. Clematis have been disappearing. A lot of plants just don't come back up because of the voles on our property. So we have mouse. We have gotten all kinds of mouse traps. The challenge for having ducks and with trying to fight the voles is that you don't want to put out poison. You don't want to, because the ducks will eat the poison and die too. So you have to set like these physical traps that'll catch them, and that have maybe like a little thing where you put food in that the ducks can't get to, and only the voles can get to. So this year is going to be the battle against voles. I've heard a lot of poisons and things don't work on them. So and we can't get a cat. So, there's barely any predators, it seems, that seem to be doing the job around here, natural predators. So what we're going to have to do is just set up more traps. Last year we got these little clear green traps, and they were like the live catch traps, but then you had this live vole that you didn't know what to do with. So we had to get rid of them. I cannot name.
They catch anything.
We caught tons of them in the green.
Some mice. That was it.
That's the voles. What do you think voles are?
Mice?
Field mice. Voles are field mice. They're mice.
I thought voles were like they.
No, those are moles.
Oh.
So moles and voles with a V are 2 different things. Voles are mice. They are field mice. They are little mice. little black furry mice that run all over the place and that leave little like tunnels that you can see through your grass.
Oh, just call them mice.
So they're specifically called voles. That's why I'm calling them voles. If you want to call them field mice, you could call them field mice.
Right.
But we caught tons of them, and then
All right, well, we'll put the traps out.
we had to get
What's
rid
that
of the
thing up there?
bodies. When,
Oh, it's
well, we
easy.
had to get rid of them
Well, it's
somehow.
easy to get rid of the bodies.
But they made good fertilizer.
What's that all the way at the top?
All the way at the top, we have some sweet peas that need to be planted out soon.
Does that need to be watered?
I watered them a few days ago, like 2 days ago. I have some, ants have gotten in here. I have some petunias here, and I did see a few. I don't know how the plants, I see like 1, 2. It's really sad. I only see like 3 petunias, and petunias are so poor.
What would Monty Don say?
They are so tiny
Monty
that you
Don
can't
is
even
so
see them.
disappointed.
Well,
He'll be like,
he would. I have, what do I have over here? Oh, some stuff growing here. I have, this can't be
what is
acanthus.
that, moss?
Oh, yeah, that's just mold or moss or something. Nothing is growing here, but over here I have some sweet peppers growing. And my sweet peppers are they're just from the grocery store. Like red and yellow sweet peppers. I guess we should just not put the cover on. So it's too cool to be planted outside, so I have to wait a little bit, just a little bit, until it warms up a little bit. I have some sweet peas here that are like looking very sad and floundering. Let's see here. Oh, green peas. So this is just edible green peas, not sweet peas. Sweet peas are poisonous. Should never eat sweet peas, the flower. Here I have a whole bunch of really incredibly healthy peas. This was just like some random pea that flew over into our front yard by our apple orchard, and they had the most incredible flowers, but they didn't smell like anything. So, and they're the edible type of pea, not the flowering decorative ornamental pea. So I can transplant these out. I've already pinched them back, and they just came back like roaring back. So that's the, I have some plants that I have gotten, and this is a tree peony. This is a Japanese one called Shima
Where are you going to plant that?
Manishiki, and this is a pink one. I forgot the name of that one. And I'm going to plant these, I think, in the side yard. The deer have not been bothering the peonies. I don't think they taste good to deer. But these are really special tree peonies. This one is red and white striped, and this one is, they both have huge flowers when they're full-size bushes. And this one is like a really fluffy pink one. This one's a really fluffy red and white one. I've tried to grow the Shima Nishiki, I think, but I killed it by putting it in the flower beds, and I don't know what happened. They just floundered. Maybe it was voles, but I didn't know that voles ate peonies, because our other peonies are doing fine. I just think that they were not in the correct place. Maybe too much moisture. So there are little plants in here that I have to water. And since they're so tiny, I can't like dump, from my watering can. I have to very gently water them. So this is the, and they're tiny in here. These are the petunias that I grew from seeds. And I'm going to see if it's really worth growing petunias from seed. And these are the wave petunias that are supposed to be very, they like spread like crazy. So we'll see if that happens. So this is our 4 garden beds. We ordered these off of Temu, and they're actually pretty decent quality. And this kind of corrugated metal material seems to be pretty strong and holding its shape. My husband's gonna put like a little wooden kind of framing around it somewhere, somehow. But we transplanted mostly brassicas and lettuces in here. So this is a lot of mini broccoli. We have tons of rainbow chard here. These beds are also, I got these. These are 2 feet tall because the goose cannot get her head in here. Because the goose was munching all around the edge, and they say, well, not ducks. Ducks and geese are very destructive. I have to contend with my own pets eating our vegetables. So this is green, I think black seeded Simpson lettuce and some red romaine lettuce in here. So we transplanted some lettuce seedlings from the greenhouse. In here, I did put some, I mixed up a couple things. I have some beets. I have some parsley, and in the middle, there's 2 long string bean vines here and here that I put in the middle so I could put a stake up in the middle. These are baby broccoli. Over here, these are all purple scallions. They're scallions that have, like, instead of white, they have kind of like a reddish magenta purple kind of end bulb thing to them. So these are all green onions or scallions here, raised from seed, and I started those really early in February. I have spinach here that, just kind of did this huge growth spurt in the last 2 weeks. So I transplanted spinach. This is more baby broccoli here. This is all baby broccoli that was also grown. So everything here was started in the greenhouse. I really wanted that. The only exception is this garlic that we raised again from some really large-sized bulbs left over from last year's harvest. This is Music, I think, Music garlic. The name of it is Music Symphony or Music, one of those. And it was a nice, strong garlic, very decent, grew really well. So I didn't buy garlic for most of the year. I only bought garlic, I think, once. Between last year and this year, only like once. So, and I would have had more if I had stored them properly, but I didn't store them properly, and they all dried out at the end. So I had tons of garlic that just dried out that I couldn't use. So I'm going to try to maybe wrap them in paper and put them in the refrigerator to have them last longer this year. We don't have a basement. We don't have any kind of root cellar. We don't have anything like that. Our home is like a split level, and we only have a laundry room as our lowest level, and a family room. So it's not a place where I would store food. Too much light gets in there. So storage of things that you grow is kind of another problem. If we had a basement, that would have solved that problem, but unfortunately we don't have a basement. So we have to come up with some sort of other solution. So that's it. A lot of lettuce. Since it's cold, beans, lettuce. We have the garlic growing from last year, broccoli, which is a brassica, green onions. These are all cold weather crops that are growing right now. And then we'll switch over to warmer weather crops, and maybe we'll grow more lettuce on the north side of our greenhouse that doesn't get as much sun. We have 2 We're gonna have two little square raised beds over there that we wanted to use as cold frames, but I could certainly grow lettuce in them. So that's the plan. I have these like cheap plastic half barrels where I'm going to grow all my eggplants and tomatoes and warm weather things. Over here, my husband, he saved some horseradish. You could just see some of it just sitting here on the surface, withering away. But inside, here's a horseradish. There's plenty of horseradish roots, and you cannot get rid of horseradish. You can try, but it'll keep popping up. So it'll probably, pop up somewhere in one of those beds. So horseradish, I don't think we use horseradish too much, but when I do grind it up and make a jar or two, it's really strong. It's really good with steak, a good steak. So we decided to preserve it and keep growing that. Over here in these bags, I nearly forgot, are some purple potatoes that I chitted, which is letting them kind of shrivel up as the little, stalks start coming out from the potato's body. So there's about 3 or 4 in each of these grow bags. So we're going to try grow bags again this year. And I think I tried to grow them too late one year, and I only got little potatoes, and that's what I used for the chitted potatoes. But since I started so early, I'm hoping to get a lot more potatoes and productivity from these bags over here. So we'll see if that works. I have around the property like these ornamental trees. This one I actually grew from a seed, and it is I still cannot think of that name of this plant, but it's a tree that grows these gorgeous white orchid-like flowers, and they're in clusters. They almost look like horse chestnut flowers, but it's not a horse chestnut. And when the flowers are done, they grow these beans. It must be from the bean family, and you could see the little leaves sprouting out here. So it has survived 2 years. This plant is like a full 2 years old, and it's got about like maybe the caliber of the stem is like 1.25 inches. So it's doing pretty good, and I raised the tree from a seed. I have some crab apples, some beautiful red maples in pots. What I'm going to do about them, I'm going to place them around the yard, and they do grow to a medium-large size. So if I don't want to keep them, I'm planning on just selling them, maybe Facebooking them, but I want to enjoy leaves and some beautiful red foliage maybe for another year or two, and see how I feel about them. But these were really small bare root trees that I got from Arbor Day Foundation, which is a foundation that encourages people to grow trees. So I guess they had a relationship with some nurseries, and they sold, some trees for like, $17, $12, something like that. And they were just like sticks, and they grew pretty well. I mean, it's really hard to kill a maple tree. Yeah. So over the weekend, my daughter and I, be careful, dug up some weeds and aerated the soil inside these flower beds. These beds were not growing vegetables in, although it's very tempting to do that. We're going to grow only sunflowers and flowers. So we aerated them. The ducks were having a party in here, ate a lot of the worms. This one is also dug up, but this one had more worms because I kept on dumping duck water in here, and I realized this one barely had any earthworms compared to this one that I dumped all this duck water and duck feed that was in the water, and there was a huge difference. On this trellis here, we have 2 razzmatazz grapes, which is a ever-bearing grape. They have small clusters of red grapes. So I'm hoping for some grapes this year. Last year there was some grapes, but then it was like time just ran out and they just dried up on the vine because the season just was over. So these are just going to be sunflowers. We have some beautiful tulips. This is my second year of doing this. This is La Belle Epoque, which is a gorgeous, it's hard to describe the color of this. It's kind of like a rust with yellows and cream and pink and darker pinks. And this is, it's just really hard color to describe. But this, I put a little bit better drainage and I put some grit in here. And I'm just hoping that this tulip display will be even better than the one we had last year, which was just like pink and white tulips. So these are really special tulips. I have some more tulips in smaller bulb bowls, but you know, they don't really seem to be doing so great. So maybe I'll just transfer those into deeper pots for next year. But this is kind of like our centerpiece to the garden. Then we have this arch, and then we have the greenhouse. And if these sunflowers are going to be in full bloom, that'll be very beautiful. I'm not a huge fan of sunflowers, but my husband is. I like them just fine. They're just not my favorite flower. So I have an autumn blaze maple here, and then here I have some special things here. So I'm very curious about red-fleshed apples. This is a red love apple. It was developed in Austria. The flesh is red. So if you bite into it, it'll be a juicy, tart flesh. They got the red flesh from, I think, a crab apple in Kazakhstan. Is it Kazakhstan? Where's that place that Andre's from?
Kiev.
No, not Andre. Not Andre. The other, Sergey.
Oh, Kazakhstan.
Kazakhstan, yep. So this is an apple that was bred from a couple of domesticated apples and then crossed with this red apple from Kazakhstan. And it's supposed to be really, really red. Over here, this is our first raised bed from Temu. And we have 2 of them, but one did not come with 2 of the side panels. So we're going to use the spare parts from the other one and make 2 square beds right here. And they're going to be our cold frames. Our black tulip, I think it's called black tulip, magnolia is the most magnificent that it's ever looked. Period. This is like amazing. So I hope it just gets bigger and bigger and more beautiful every year.